When it comes to our folks, so again, we're the Retire Sooner podcast, and we think of, so many folks are getting to a point where they can financially no longer work. And we know that work is a huge contributor to purpose. So it's a real void when we get into our next phase. What do you see older individuals, or not even older, but let's say someone in the second, third phase of life, is it harder to find your, I think that there's the different, you're saying it doesn't have to be this capital C calling and capital P purpose. It can be a lot of different things and maybe more subtle, but what do you see maybe for folks in latter phases of life? How do they still have purpose?
Mm-hmm. It's a great question. And I think one important thing to understand with purpose is that at different phases of our lives, our purpose can change. And there will be transition periods where we might have to give up one source of purpose, and then there'll be a vacuum. And in that transition, it might feel hard, you might feel empty and unmoored, but the task is to kind of find another source of purpose. So I'm thinking of, people who do retire. So work is no longer a part of their lives the way it was before. So what's going to fill that void? Or people who become empty nesters, their kids aren't there anymore as a source of purpose. At least they're not there as much. And so what fills that void? And you see a lot of people adopting new roles when those old roles have gone away. So maybe they'll volunteer in their communities, or they'll take up a second job that, pursuing what they really wanted to pursue, all along, becoming a teacher or an artist or a docent at a museum or something like that. So there are these different ways that you can fill that void, and that's what I see people doing in these later stages of life. And you may know about this organization already, but there's a great organization called Encore, which is all about helping people find purpose in the second half of their lives after they've retired. And I spoke to a couple of people who were part of the Encore program, and one woman started volunteering in prisons. Another who was a police officer, began doing a kind of art for museums and things like that. So they found other ways to kind of give back to society. Mentoring the young was another really big theme that came up again and again.